All right, today is Thursday, which means that it is meditation Q&A. Um, so if you have anything that you're curious about or want me to talk in a little bit more detail about the actual practice of meditation, uh, put a note under this video and I will uh, talk about it next week. Today, the question is about distraction and comments that I make um, along the lines of um, the moment of distraction is the moment of awakening. And I say that a lot um, because I think it's true and I think it's helpful. So let's see if we can make it both of those things before the end of this video. Distraction is part of the practice. Okay, so here I'm talking about the practice of calm abiding, the mind of equanimity, the mind free from distraction, the mind that can uh, recognize the arising of thought, the arising of phenomena, whether those are mental phenomena, physical phenomena, sensations in the body, external sounds. All of these are potential distractions, right? They are phenomena onto which our attention could become attached. In the calm abiding practice, our intent, our aspiration is to allow sort of the free, unmodified upwelling of phenomena without manipulating those phenomena, without labeling good or bad or naming them, um, recognizing that those kinds of uh, levels, so stages of feeling, sensation, good or bad, or definition, like I'm angry or I am happy or I'm hungry, those are narrative elements that are put on top of the experience. And when we say that we are distracted, right, it means that the narrative on top of the underlying sensation, on top of the immediate thought or phenomena, that narrative has become all consuming. Uh, and it happens all the time to all of us as we sit and meditate. Uh, Quite often, my morning meditation uh, is in two parts. There's some preliminary uh, practices, the Nundro practices, right? The chanting and visualization that I do that just sort of establishes me in relation to the practice. And then I sit for some period of time. And because I don't always get up as early as I want to, and because I sometimes have to start work earlier than I do on other days, uh, I am habitually worried about whether I'm going to be able to do everything I want to do before I have to log into work and get started. And then I'm quite often anxious about what I'm going to be doing for the first few hours of my work day. And those questions uh, are ever present, and I can find myself in the middle of 10 minutes into meditation and realize that for those 10 minutes, all I've done is think about the agenda for a meeting that's starting in 45 minutes. That is distraction. Yeah. As opposed to recognizing that there's anxiety, recognizing that that anxiety is attached to what I'm going to try to say to my colleagues or to my management at work, recognizing that I am indifferent, veering towards negative about that, or maybe veering towards positive. But I could be worried about something, or I could be looking forward to it. But that's the feeling tone of it. But underneath it all is a projection into the future. It's a distraction. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say first that we are habitually distracted. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the nature of our, the fundamental kind of activity of our daily brain, the small mind. I don't mean small like trivial. I mean not the natural state. The part of our mind that is useful to navigate the to navigate our life, right? To navigate our manifestation. But we shouldn't think that that's who we are. And when we are distracted, it's because the machinations, the manipulations of that necessary interface seem to be the definition of who we are. Now, when we're practicing, and the practice that I like to start with is focusing on an object, right? In either the breath or a mandala, something, an object, a point on the wall, something that you're saying that you're going to pay attention to that object. That is so that it's very, very clear when you're no longer paying attention to the breath. It's not to say that there's something mystical or mythical or wonderful about the breath, although there is. It's amazing, right? May I sit here and air goes in and does things, and if I'm sleeping or not paying attention, I still breathe. I mean, it is a wonderful thing. But in this practice, it's the object. I'm listening to it or I'm feeling it, so that when I become distracted, I return back to the breath. That finger snap of return, that's what I mean when I say that distraction is the moment of awakening, because recognizing that you've been distracted is the practice. It is your mindfulness triggering then awareness. I mean, it's quite a wonderful process, right? It is part of your awareness that recognizes that some other part of your awareness has taken over the picture show, and in a way that was not your intent, because your intent was to focus on the breath. And so, and we return. And I want to make it very clear that that moment of recognition should be celebrated. Instead of saying, so this is easy to say, right? Instead of saying, oh, shit, my meditation session, the timer's about to go off, and I've spent the entire time not meditating because I was distracted. But that's okay, because it's not the distraction that counts, it's the moment of recognition. And that just has to happen once. And then it happens again, and again, and again, and again, and again, again, again. So our one sort of protocol or attribute of a mature practice is that the moment of recognition of distraction and return to the object of breath occurs more and more frequently. And the duration of the moment persists longer and longer. So at first it might be like that. And then minutes will go by and you'll realize, oh, I've been distracted again, and you return to the breath. But then eventually, and at a certain point, it's not distraction anymore, is it? It's recognition of the nature of the thought that's occurring. That's the mature calm abiding practice. Then you get up from the cushion and you're still in that equanimous state. You can choose to engage from whichever part of your awareness is necessary, to order coffee or make a YouTube video or go to work or play the piano or interact with life in a full, emotionally available, authentic state, but at no point sort of catapulted away or rubber band in, or whatever the whichever direction or whatever metaphor you want to use. Right? The idea of being distracted is no longer really relevant because you're simply participating and observing with an ever-increasing sense of what that boundary is, of who and where. So that's the question for today on distraction. As I said, if you have any other questions about meditation, I talk about spirituality and meditation and creativity and other kinds of things all the time on this channel, but it is grounded in this very, very stable, very necessary technique of meditation, and I'm happy to answer questions or talk more about it. So, with that, keep your wits about you, and I look forward to hearing your questions.